Hello, can anyone say that who is taking our webinars and
अब मत बोलो। इसका वीडियो नहीं चल रहा। So good afternoon, one and all present here. I, Dr. Harish Nagar, feel privileged to welcome you all esteemed guests, dignitaries, valuable dignitaries, research scholars, and dear students in this online national webinar on trace gases in atmosphere. It is privilege to welcome Professor Dr. Akhilesh Kumar, sir, advisor Sangam University. I welcome to Honorable President Sangam University, Professor KP Yadav, sir. It is our pleasure to welcome Dr. Ravi Yadav. He is a scientist B in Indo-UK Air Pollution and Human Health Project at Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, Pune. Welcome you all, sir. Now let us have the pleasure to listen the words of Honorable President, sir, Professor KP Yadav, sir. Sir, President, sir.
Thank you, Professor Nagar, Harish Nagarji. Good afternoon to one and all. My voice is audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Good afternoon to one and all. Our respected advisor, Professor Akhilesh ji, Dr. Ravi, scientist in environment science, Professor Harish Nagar, other dignitaries, respected professors of the department, participants, and my dear students. First of all, I would like to thanks and congratulate to the Department Applied Science, School of the Applied Science, for the organization of this such national webinar on the importance of the trace gases in atmosphere. Everyone knows our lives is possible on the earth because of the three resources available. First resource is atmosphere, which you call as air also. Second one is hydrosphere, that is water. And third one is lithosphere, that is land. Because of combination of these three, we are alive person on the earth. Other planets of the globe, till information we have, such combination have not been found, or you can say it is under research. If it is found there, such lives may exist there. As everybody knows, we have reached on the moon, but biosphere of moon is very difficult and it's around 150 million kilometers away, that is 147.15 million kilometers exactly from Earth. And temperature of the moon varies from 190 degrees Celsius, from minus 190 degrees Celsius to plus 110 degree centigrade Celsius. On such a big variant of the temperature, very difficult to survive for any human being. And because of the low gravity, moon is not having atmosphere. That's why research done so far, we have not found any live things there. Maybe research is going on. Our scientists and researchers are trying to reach again and again on the moon, and countries are planning to have future societies, future colonies in the moon also. But for that, you have to develop the atmosphere there. Atmosphere means all three things, that is atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere. Most of us know that in our atmosphere, Earth's atmosphere, nitrogen is 78% by volume and oxygen is 21% by volume. And the remaining is around approx 1% of the atmospheric gases. This 1% by volume is known as the trace gases. Because of that, they are present in such small concentrations. Noble gases, which also include the neon, helium, krypton, and xenon. These are also known as the inert gases and do not generally engage in any kind of chemical transformation within the atmosphere. As you know, hydrogen is also present in trace quantities in the atmosphere, but because of its light weight, very lightweight, over time much of it has escaped Earth's gravitational pull to space. As our children always see, they fill it, their balloon, by the hydrogen gas and it goes up. Even sometimes some air transportation was also tried because of this, but could not get much success. Other trace gases in the atmosphere that arises from natural phenomena, such as, volcanic eruptions, lightning strikes, like thunder strikes during rain, and forest fires. Gases from these sources may include nitric oxide, NO, and sulfur dioxide, SO2. As we have studied that in our atmosphere, there is continuous generation of chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, which always damage to the ozone depletion layer. And if ozone layer is destroyed, then life will be very difficult on the earth. Skin cancers and other cancer cases will be increased enormous. So it's our responsibility to study and research on these trace gases in the atmosphere. It's one of the most important area. And if life, not like the human being, like us people, we are here, flora fauna is here. If something new research has come up with beyond the atmosphere, or you can say the trace gases, maybe it's matter of research, maybe existing in other planets. Instead of taking the breath, they may be having something, another part, another way of living thing, getting the energy. But still it is under research. So as we people concerned with the applied science and research in this way, we have to further research into this area, finding the possibility of to getting the life in the other planets. So with these words, I would like to invite you all to discussion and find out the research what you have done so far, discuss on that area, and further beyond that, beyond the human life also, beyond the trace gases, you have to not only imagine, you have to find out, like the AI, artificial intelligence has come. So such a way, maybe getting the energy for a human being from these gases, maybe the another way also. So we have to concentrate on that issues and focus on that. And with these words, I would like to convey our Thanks and congratulations to once again to the department and best wishes to you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Uh, it's time to listen the words of Dr. Ravi Yadav. Uh, Dr. Ravi Yadav is a scientist, B scientist in Indo-UK Air Pollution and Human Health Project at Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, Pune. He is currently responsible to understand the urban atmospheric pollution and their role on the earth. He did PhD from Department of Physics, MLSU University, Udaipur, under the MAPAN IITM MOES project. During his PhD, he was associated with PRL Ahmedabad and ITM Pune. Later, he moved to PRL Ahmedabad for postdoctorate fellow and worked volatile organic compounds in the air using mass spectrometer. Afterward, he joined National Institute of Advanced Study IISc campus Bangalore as a researcher for a few months. Later, he went to Fudan University, Shanghai as postdoc fellow during 2018-19. He has been published more than 22 international scientific papers in Journal of National Repute as well as International Repute. Also, he presented more than 25 papers in international and national conferences. He also received Early Career Scientist Award from WMO and IGAC in 2016, USA. So I would like to invite Dr. Ravi Yadav to say his words in front of us. Dr. Ravi Yadav, sir. Ravi, sir, are you listening my voice? Ravi, sir. I think there is some network issue. So, dear students, please wait for a few minutes.
तो आप उसको ऑन कीजिए माइक उसका माइक
मेरी आवाज जा रही थी क्या आपकी?
Yes, sir.
स्टार्ट
Please start.
स्टार्ट कीजिए
हेलो 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 हेलो
Sir, you are audible. Please
Okay.
start
Okay,
your
okay,
presentation.
okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so good morning to all of you. As and I'm very thankful to the Vice Chancellor of Sangam University and the Director of Sangam University and the Dean and all the organizing committee who has organized this nice talk to understand the trace gases in the atmosphere. So I'm very big thankful to all of you. So today we are going to talk about the trace gases in the atmosphere. So in my talk, the brief outline I have mentioned here, the brief introduction of, first of all, I would like to talk about what is the atmosphere of Earth. Then we come to the chemistry, what is happening in the atmosphere with the gaseous pollutants or as well as the aerosol pollutants. Now, after that, I will emphasize the importance of the volatile organic compounds, which is the organic compounds in the, the millions and trillions, many compounds in this range in the atmosphere. After that, I will talk about the impact of lockdown, COVID-19 lockdown on emissions and air pollution all over the world. So this is the major composition of planetary atmosphere. As we know, all the solar planets have different compositions because of, if you see here the list of all the planets there, where we can see the how much different with each other. So if you see the outer planet like Jupiter, Saturn, Titan, Uranus, they are hydrogen, helium and other. These are gases, the dominating in the outer planets. But in the terrestrial planets like the Earth, Venus, Mercury, there are, the nitrogen, oxygen and carbon monoxide. But we are not talking about the other planets. We are talking about the Earth atmosphere. So as we know, we are learning since school time. So on Earth, the nitrogen, oxygen, and argon, they are dominating gases, which is called the major constituent in the atmosphere. So this is the total percent of around 99%. So this is the composition of Earth atmosphere. So as we know, the major gases here, nitrogen, oxygen and argon. These are the emitted in the atmosphere by the biological or some other sources. But if you talk about the minor constituents or trace constituents, which is I have shown here, there are many gases like carbon monoxide, ozone, which in the troposphere, in the stratosphere, nitrogen oxide and hydrocarbon. There are many gases and there are several sources to, of all the gases. For example, the anthropogenic and biogenic. We know the anthropogenic sources is like the man-made sources we produce in the, using the transport industry and all the things. But there are some biogenic sources. Biogenic sources is the natural sources. And apart from them, there are another sources like the photochemical sources. Photochemical sources means they produce by the reaction in the atmosphere, which is called the secondary pollutant, like the ozone. Ozone is not directly emitted in the atmosphere. The ozone produced by the reaction in the presence of sunlight with the primary pollutants. So these are the glimpses, which is show the how much they are, in the atmosphere. So these are the volume mixing ratio. And can you imagine all the gases comes in less than 1%, which is very important, because when the volume mixing ratio high and low, so they impact in the very important role in the atmosphere. So the minor constituent, the water vapor is very important, which is the greenhouse gases like the carbon dioxide and water vapor, methane also. These are the greenhouse gases. Apart from that, the trace gases, there are also the particulates like suspended particulates, which may be solid or liquids. this kind of the particulates we call the aerosols. So it may be dust, spores, pollen, salt, sea spray. Many type of aerosols are present in the atmosphere. So so we know the atmosphere is a thin veil which is surrounded by the atmospheric composition. So how they vary, how they created the atmospheric molecule, the pressure in the atmosphere. So just brief introduction, what is the atmospheric pressure? So how we can calculate, I think all the students, they know about the atmospheric pressure and how we can understand and how we can calculate the atmospheric pressure. So simply we can do the mercury barometer experiment. So atmospheric pressure, which is the exerted by the molecule, which is in the the many molecules in the atmosphere, they exerted the pressure on the surface. So for that we can do the mercury barometer experiments. So we can put the mercury in the container and we can take also the glass. So if you see upside where the vacuum, from the vacuum side, they they created some pressure to the downside. And if you see here there is the B, the atmospheric molecule created also the pressure from the outside. So in the center side they balance. So the balance time, they how much the pressure is equal to force per unit area, P is equal to mg upon A. So if we convert m is equal to rho into volume upon A into G, G is the gravitational force. So according to that, the balancing condition will come around P is equal to rho GH. So we can put it here the basic the numbers like the mercury density and all the things. So according to that, we can calculate the pressure of the atmosphere. So we know the 14.7 psi is the atmospheric pressure. This is the mass of the atmosphere. So pressure or mass is the related with each other. So if we get the pressure of the atmosphere, so according to that we can calculate the mass of the atmosphere. So based on this we can calculate how much mass of the atmosphere, which is around 5.2 into 10 to the power 18 kg. And second thing, if we talk about in the atmosphere there are several layers. So in this atmosphere, the pressure, density, temperature, many things the change with the height. So there are, if you see here in the first figure, there are in x-axis pressure and this is the altitude in y-axis. So if you see here, so now we are here the 1000, because the earth surface pressure is around 1000. So if we go upside with the altitude, so the pressure will is decreasing, exponentially decreasing. So if we come here the 500 millibar pressure, so the atmospheric the mass is about the 50%, and again we go upside. So if we see here around 50 kilometer height, there the pressure, atmospheric pressure is around the 1 millibar. So which is very the thin. So according to that we can see here the very thin atmosphere, and about 99.9% atmosphere is come under the 50 kilometer altitude. So according to that we can compare with the density or pressure, because P barabar NKT. So density and pressure, which are both are interconnected. So when the pressure is the decline with the height, so automatically the density will also the decline because of the less molecule in the atmosphere. If you see here, the reason is very the very less as compared to surface. So the molecule also will the reduce when we go upside around about the 5.5 kilometer. So now come to the trace gases. So why these are gases very important in the atmosphere? Why they are important? So as we said, the normal composition like nitrogen, oxygen, argon, these are normal, but less than 1% is around 0.1%, is very important to understand the chemistry of the atmosphere and the climate and many several, the factors is when the change in the mixing ratio of the or concentration of the trace gases. So they impact like several, the causes. For example, here first I shown here the health impact, greenhouse effect, smog, photochemical, and agriculture also. So now and here there are few, the pollutants I have mentioned here. For example, ozone, CO, nitrogen oxide, volatile organic compounds, and particulate matter. I will show some results regarding the ozone and volatile organic compounds. So how? So first one example I would I will say like the greenhouse effect. How the greenhouse effect? Why we this is the which gases play important role in the greenhouse gases, and which so like for example CO2, CH4, water, these are the greenhouses gases. So when the sunlight or the light comes from the sun on the earth surface, then earth surface again re-radiated the energy or light is equivalent to the infrared radiation, and the molecule in the atmosphere absorb the radiation and again they scattered on the atmosphere. So according to this process, they the created warm, they make the warm earth. So therefore in the atmosphere the energy balance the disturbed when the mixing ratio high. Okay, so this is called the greenhouse effect. So if you see here, without greenhouse effect, can you imagine how much temperature of the atmosphere? Around -18 degrees centigrade. Or with greenhouse gases, the atmospheric temperature is plus 15 degrees centigrade. So this is okay. But when the mixing ratio of greenhouse gases goes around, beyond the limit, so they, the impact the climate change and many other things because of the, the global warming and global cooling. So these kind of causes are happening due to the these kind of gases when the limit goes to the higher level. So these are the few examples. So now this is the, the importance of trace gases. Now I would like to say about the primary VOCs, which the anthropogenic VOCs, because of the nowadays, because everybody knows about the CO, carbon monoxide, NOx, ozone, and aerosols. But VOC nowadays very important because nobody knows, very few people knows about the organic compounds, volatile organic compounds. So some important things I am sharing you here about the VOCs. So you can see here the why are we interested or in VOCs and why we want to know about the VOCs. What is importance? So suppose we know the ozone. How ozone comes in the atmosphere? Because there are no direct link of ozone emission. How the organic, secondary organic aerosol, how they coming from in the atmosphere. So the VOC are the major, the organic compound. There are several VOC. I will mention in the next slide. So the VOC are important component of tropospheric ozone. I will show the reaction, how they form the ozone. Again, the formation of the secondary organic, because people know the direct emission is only the the reason for the pollution. No, there are also secondary things. The primary pollution, primary species, they are reacting in the atmosphere, then creating also the pollutants, which is called the organic aerosol, secondary organic formation of organic aerosol. And this is also the, the impact the human health. For example, if you know the benzene, which is the when the limit goes to high level, which is very dangerous for the health and the environmental. Stratospheric ozone depletion, when the long lived, because it depends on the long, the lifetime. So those are have, you know, the short lifetime, which is okay. But those who have, you know, the higher long-lived species, for example, halogens, halogen, chlorofluorocarbons, they are actually, chlorofluorocarbon has banned, but some other halogen species, which is, you know, the deplete the stratospheric ozone, deplete the stratospheric ozone, because the long-lived species transport from the Earth's surface to the upper, you know, the upside. So therefore, it is responsible for that. Now, structure of the Earth atmosphere. I think all the people's, you know, all the audience or students know about the Earth atmosphere. So there are, you know, the structure of the temperature profile. If you see, so there are few, I have mentioned the 2-3 layers, like the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, and thermosphere. So now we are talking about the troposphere. So if you see here, the temperature, you know, in the troposphere goes 10 kilometers is a decline, right? In 10 kilometer, up to 10 kilometer, the temperature, you know, goes to decline side. So in the troposphere layer, there are, what is the importance of the troposphere? Because of there are, you know, the weather phenomena we can see here, and water is very 80 to 90% water is here in the atmosphere. Chemistry is in the troposphere. So human life and many things is possible in the troposphere. And after 10 kilometer, the temperature goes to high, up to 50 kilometer. 10 to 50 kilometer region, which is called the stratosphere. Stratosphere, where in mid of stratosphere there are ozone layer. So what is the basic purpose of ozone layer? Because they, you know, they absorb the ultraviolet radiation and protect to us. I will show the layer of ozone in next slide. And after that, if we see here the mesosphere, there meteoroids and all these kind of things burnt in this region, and then again the temperature goes to the, you know, the decline side. And after that, thermosphere, and again the temperature will go high because of the absorption of the high energy radiation, for example, the X-ray and UV and all the things. So this is like you know, the basic scenario what is happening in the troposphere, like weather and all the things. So one important things, I think this is the planetary boundary layer. I think the people don't know what is the boundary layer of planetary. Actually, this is the part of troposphere. This is a part of the troposphere. This is the troposphere region, and below this, around 1 kilometer, there is the region which is called the planetary boundary layer. So what is this? The boundary layer, actually the pollution is also, you know, the disperse and accumulation. So this is the one of the reason. Because of that, if you see here, this is the diurnal pattern. See the noon time, sunset, midnight, sunrise, and noon in the x-axis, and the y-axis there is the altitude. So if you see here, during the noon time, noon to sunset, you can see the shaded region, right? So there is mentioned convective mixed layer. So what is happening here, when during the noon time, there are, you know, in the atmosphere the intense solar flux. So due to the intense solar flux, the boundary layer goes up to 1000 kilometer. Okay, because of the intense solar flux. So if you see the daytime pollution, we always, you know, see the low levels as compared to the night time, morning time, evening time. Because when we get the larger volume, 0 to 1000 meter volume, then the pollution will disperse. So mostly during daytime, the pollution level, most of the time we get, you know, the low as compared to night, morning, or evening time. But when we come here, the sunset, midnight, sunrise, so this is the nocturnal boundary layer. So you can see here that this shaded region goes to the around, you know, the 300 meter approx, means they down. The layer goes, you know, come to the downside. So then the mixing region we get smaller. So then the pollution level will, what happen? The pollutants will accumulate and get the higher, we can get the higher mixing ratio during the night time. And also, and this process, the again and again during the hour period, which is one of the reason, the the pollutant dispersion during the hour basis or seasonal basis. So now we can see here the ozone features. Ozone feature, what is the, we know the ozone, surface ozone. So the most of the people know the stratospheric ozone. So people say this ozone is a good. So why we are saying the ozone is a pollutant? So ozone is good, but not in troposphere where we are living. Ozone is good in the stratosphere. Here, I said in the previous slide, stratosphere. Why it is good for us? Because the most of there in the stratosphere, because the ozone molecule absorb most of the hard ultraviolet radiation. So according to that, we protect. According to that, the stratospheric ozone molecules absorb the ultraviolet radiation and protect us. So therefore, in the stratosphere, ozone is good for us because of the UV shield. But if we come here in the downside, this is the tropospheric. Here in the troposphere, 15% surface ozone. In the upper atmosphere, stratosphere, there is 85% around. So instead of that, if we, the 15% is very, very less as compared to the 85. Instead of that, 15% is dangerous for us in the troposphere. Because why? Because in the troposphere, ozone is a pollutant, secondary pollutant, or third most greenhouse gas. So in troposphere, how it produced in the troposphere? Because when the precursor gases, the carbon monoxide, volatile organic compounds react with insufficient amount of nitrogen oxide, and in the presence of visible sunlight, they produce, O3. But in the presence of the hydroxyl radical, OH, when OH present in the atmosphere, then they will oxidize in the presence of NOx or sunlight. Then they form the surface ozone, which is the pollutant, secondary pollutant, and in surface it is the toxic to humans and vegetation. And if you go in the upside stratosphere, there are what is the process of ozone formation? So there are, the oxygen, then they absorb the ultraviolet sunlight, then they form O atom, which is unstable. It again react with oxygen and unstable energy, the metastable energy. Then they form the ozone in the stratosphere. So therefore, this is the good ozone in the stratosphere and bad ozone in the troposphere. So this is the chemistry, how ozone formed in the troposphere. So you can see the CO, carbon monoxide, oxidize in the OH, oxidize with the OH. Then they create some intermediate products. But finally, they form the surface ozone. And similar, this is the one example I have shown here. But if you see methane and non-methane hydrocarbon, these compounds also form the surface ozone. Okay, and the intermediate product are maybe the secondary product, which is also important to understand. But now we are talking ozone. So this is the production and loss also here in the atmosphere. When ozone, the in the presence of sunlight, photo dissociate and then create some intermediate product, then ozone also loss in the atmosphere. And this is the dry, and third one is the dry deposition. So there are the loss and this is the production. So how ozone form in the atmosphere and how ozone, the loss in the atmosphere. So we can see here the some the fundamental mechanism. According to that, we can understand the lifetime of ozone, and around 2 days is lifetime of the surface ozone. So what is the source of ozone in the atmosphere? What is the source? So first is, I have mentioned here, the in situ photochemical production. As I said in previous slide, where the precursor gases react with the OH in the with sufficient amount of NOx, then they create photochemical production. So it is like to surface ozone. Secondly, downward transport from the stratosphere. Downward transport from the stratosphere. See here in the previous slide. And ozone also hide during the daytime because of the photochemical production. When the sunlight they react in presence of the sunlight. So during daytime, intense solar flux, and the boundary layer goes up to like that, and and the ozone transport from the free troposphere to the free troposphere to the lower troposphere. So during daytime they also transport to the the ground level. So according to that, we can get higher levels of that they contribute to high ozone in the troposphere because of the high boundary layer. So these are there are in the atmosphere, there are two major there are two sources. And role in chemistry and climate. See, the chemistry, for the chemistry in the atmosphere, one of the major the detergent, which is called hydroxyl radical, OH, because OH is a radical which remove all the primary pollutant, because all the primary pollutant, when they oxidize, then they remove from the atmosphere. It depends on the lifetime. It's not like long-lived species react fast or like that. It depends on the lifetime, but they oxidize, they remove from the atmosphere, and then again the form, and they again remove, they again form. So this process the happening on the day-to-day basis or season to season. So the OH, hydroxyl radical, the ozone is the major source of hydroxyl radical, and which is known as the detergent in the atmosphere. So how ozone formed? Because of the ozone photodissociate like that, and again and it react with the H2O and then form the OH. And OH is very play an important role in the atmosphere, because they oxidize many primary pollutant, and so therefore it is important. So now I would like to emphasize of volatile organic compound in the ambient air. So as we know, and all the people know the ozone and all the things, but I think very few people know about the volatile organic compounds in the ambient air, because of these volatile organic compounds have a high vapor pressure, less than 0.01 kilopascal at room temperature. So what happens? They easily evaporate in the atmosphere, and there are several hydrocarbons. For example, alkane group, aromatic group, oxygenated VOC, hydrocarbons, halogens. Many groups are there in the atmosphere, and many sources. We cannot easily quantify it, how much they are coming from each sources. So which is very important. And most of the volatile organic compounds have a very short lifetime. They quickly emit and quickly react with the OH and produce some secondary pollutants in the atmosphere. So the volatile organic compound is very, very important to understand the chemistry or climate. CO is also important, but volatile, if we do the study of, because there are some uncertainties because of the fast reactivity and many sources. So they they form many kinds of secondary pollutants. So we should understand about the volatile organic compounds in the atmosphere. There are the classification, like the non-methane hydrocarbon. There are alkanes, alkenes, alkynes, and aromatics. So I think all know alkanes means like the ethane, propane, butane, alkenes, ethene, propene, isoprene, alkynes, and aromatic benzene, toluene, xylenes are compounds, the coming in this group. Oxygenated VOCs like aldehyde, ketones, ethanol. Oxygenated VOCs, you understand, I think secondary VOCs. When the primary pollutant oxidize with OH, then they produce secondary pollutant, which may be say like the oxygenated VOC, for example, aldehydes, ketones, ethanol. Instead of primary emission, they have a secondary emission also, like the photochemical production. And third is the halogens, for example, DMN, dimethyl sulfide, acetonitrile, and all the things, the halogen. So there are, the anthropogenic sources of VOCs, for example, fuel evaporation, biomass burning, and also VOC, if you do the study from the indoor environments, VOC is very important, because the paint, solvent, and any coffee and any the products, whatever we use for the drink and all the things, so these are the major sources of VOC if you go in the indoor environment, so which is very important for indoor study. And this is the natural sources. So VOC have a biogenic or natural sources, for example, terrestrial vegetation, ocean, organism, decomposition of organic matter. So you can see here the many species which are coming from the natural sources now, but we are focusing here in India mostly isoprene, acetone, formaldehyde, acetaldehydes. So if you see here the green part, right? Green part here, which is the isoprene. So around 55%, the isoprene released in the atmosphere from the natural sources. See what, so this is good or what? Because the biogenic sources, the natural, but in the if you go in the urban atmosphere, we cannot quantify easily which one the anthropogenic and which one the the biogenic sources and biogenic compounds. So this is very quite interesting to understand how much coming from the these sources and these sources. So it may be very useful to understand to further chemistry and climate and dynamics in the the atmosphere and all the things. So a few example I have shown here what is happening here. So here I have mentioned the ozone, carbon monoxide, and nitrogen oxides. So if you see here in the first the left side plots A, B, C, D, E, F. So I will explain here the ozone. So this is the yearly basis, the year around measurements from April to April. So here all the season, they include, for example, summer, monsoon, winter, and post monsoon. Okay. So if you see here the daily maxima or daily mean ozone high here, March and April, the red is high, and the box is the mean value also high in the March, April, and here also, right? So why the ozone high during the summer? Because March, April, May, these are the from the summer time. Okay, so why ozone high during summer? Because of the, I said also, because of the photochemical production. So when solar flux high, then they will ozone also high, because this is the secondary pollutant. So when solar flux high, then react with the the OH high. In high solar flux, OH also high, so the primary pollutants oxidize with the OH and then create the ozone. And also second thing I said, downdraft transport. So I said also the boundary layer high also when the solar flux high. So during summer, solar flux high, boundary layer also high, then the downdraft transport will also the responsible to enhance the level of ozone during the summer period. But if you go here in the monsoon season and post monsoon season, so monsoon season the values you can see in for all pollutants, because of low. Why? Because of the the year monsoon season. See here the monsoon season, right? The back trajectory. This is the 7-day back trajectory, which is showing here the transport of the air molecules. In which season from the pollutant transport path. So if you see here the monsoon, the transport of air parcel from the, the along this path from Arabian Sea to the this region. This is Western India. So the path is like that. So in monsoon period, the air we get clean air from the Arabian Sea. One of the reason I'm telling clean air. So according to that, we get clean air. So therefore, low value we found here. The second things, rainfall also, remove the pollutants in the monsoon season. So these are the major factor. But if you see here, CO high in winter season, NOx high in winter season, right? Which is opposite to the ozone, right? We are looking here the elevated level of CO and NOx because of, I said, when during winter season the boundary layer, the get trapped the air pollutant, the primary pollutants. Then when we get the lower, the lesser volume of atmosphere or boundary layer, then the pollutant will accumulate in the atmosphere and then enhance the primary pollutants, which is called the temperature inversion. So during night time or during winter, the temperature inversion high, because therefore we can see here the higher values of the CO and NOx. So according to that, we can quantify it. And also other reason here, in winter season, you can see the transport path, which is coming from the, the north side, Indo-Gangetic plain, where, the lots of industries and all the things. So the transport of air pass is coming here, the northwest side through the Indo-Gangetic plain. So they, the transport, the pollution from distinct region to measurement site. So this is also responsible to enhance the where you are looking the measurements and all. So this is also contribute to all the pollutants. So, and this is another results of VOCs and OVOCs in Western India. So VOC is, the volatile organic compounds, and OVOC is here the oxygenated volatile organic compound in Western India. So this is the time series of hourly and VOCs, and this is the 1 month measurements. 1 month measurement. So like December month, winter month. So you can see here the methanol, acetaldehyde, acetone, isoprene, acetonitrile, benzene, and toluene. We are measuring here. We have the specific extensive experiment. For example, the mass spectrometer and all the things. So using this, we measuring here and measured this kind of species. So what we see here, and this is the transport path, right? During the December month. So, but and this a black dot is the fire count, biomass burning, and all the things, right? So, if we distinguish this classified here in two parts, 1 to 15 December and 16 to 31st December. Why? Because if you see here, the black dot is very less as compared to 16 to 31st. Here black dot is high, because when we go in the intense winter, so biomass burning, at local regions or distant regions, we can see at we can see here in the end of December, we can get the high levels of primary pollutant because of the biomass burning, as we can see here the black dots, right, which may be local or distant. So here, according to that, we divided into two parts. So if you see here, the methanol, because of the high long-lived species, which is high in the last days of the December. See, all the values high, because of the biomass burning. Because when we go in the intense winter time, so people burn the local garbage and all the things to get the warmer against the cold, and during morning, in the night. So according to that, we can get the highest, the biomass burning fire count during the last. And if you go in the January also, we can get more. But now we have plotted here for the December month. So according to that, the values are high in the last days of the month. So why? So how can we know if this is the biomass burning? The impact in the last. So for understand this kind of things, we have correlated. The acetonitrile, we have correlated all the species versus with the acetonitrile. Why we took acetonitrile on x-axis in all for all pollutants? Because acetonitrile is a tracer. Acetonitrile is a tracer of biomass burning. What is meaning of tracer? Because of acetonitrile has a longer lifetime, is around 6 months. So it can easily transported. If we took here the short lifetime species, it will vanish. It cannot, react with the other pollutants. But it has a because it is a long-lived species. So easily it can acetonitrile transport from many. You can see here the 5,000, the kilometer, 4,000 kilometer, 2,000 kilometer region, and reach here in Western India. So therefore, to understand which is the biomass burning impact or something local other emissions or dust emission. Actually, dust is not a source of VOC. So here we correlated. So if you see here in the last days of the month, we can see the higher emission factor. Emission factor means the slope. So in the 17 to 31st, the days, we can get in each plot higher emission factor. So because of higher emission factor, due to the higher emission factor, we can see here the transported, the transported biomass burning impacted the measurement site and contribute to the, all the species. Okay, in the Western India. So therefore we did this kind of study. So we cannot see. So what we can understand, if you are, suppose if you are here and we are burning and transport is here, they are emitting the sources. So these are responsible sources, but the transport of pollution is a major, the source. So we cannot see if we are here, there are no pollution. If you go in the clean air, also you can get the, the high pollution level because of the transportation of air parcel. So this is also, so apart from meteorology, also responsible for that. Meteorology also, because if you get the higher wind speed, then we can get, the dispersion of pollution and all the things. So many things are there. So we cannot say like that, there are lots of emissions, so pollution is high, and there are no emission, but maybe we can get the high pollution because of this kind of activities. And this backtest activity plotted from the, the high split model and all the things. Now we come to we know about the, the global pandemic since March 2019. And we are, facing all kind of situation, the bad situation like economic and like jobs and all the things, many things. But what interesting thing for the atmospheric or for the people, human life and all the things, we got, the clean environment. If you see here, since March to, March to May and April, all over the world, we have seen the improvement in the air quality, clear environment during the intense lockdown. So some glimpses I have shown here all over the world, and one study I have done in Indian mega cities, which is also I will show. So this is very interesting thing. So see here the NO2 levels in China, which is measured by the European Space Agency, And NO2, why we took here the NO2? Because NO2, the major emission of NO2 from the transport sector, and the transport sector majorly restricted during the lockdown period. Industry also, but but transport sector, the major affected by the lockdown. So if you see here, the 1 to 20 January 2020, there are, the NO2 density, which is very high, around 375 to 500, right? But if you see here, the 10 to 25 2020, because in China, the lockdown imposed since February. So you can see here the clean, right? So this is the very interesting picture of air quality during the lockdown period, because they imposed the restriction in industries and transport and many other things. And this is also from the Europe, March 2019, 14 to 20 March 2020, and this is the March also. And see, so you can see here, there are, you can see here the Paris, right? So there are, the NO2 is high around the 160 micromole per meter cube. But if you see here, during 14 to 20 March, 52% reduction seen, right here. So these are the major things. And you can see here the Milan, very intense red zone. But you see here in the 14 to 20 March, there are 45, we seen the reduction in the NO2 also, and Rome also 47%. And this is the, the Indian region. So you can see here the 25th March to 20 April 2019. This is the, the Sentinel 5P nitrogen dioxide tropospheric column, which is measured by the European Space Agency set by using the satellite. So you can see here the Mumbai, Delhi, the higher levels of NO2, right, in 2019. But in 2020, 25th to 20 April, if you see here the Delhi, Mumbai, there are, the clean, we can see here the clean air. There are very less pollution, right, according to this bar, the blue code. But if you see here the east side, there are, the red code, and I have mentioned here the power plants, because there are, the lots of coal power plants, thermal power plants, electricity plants. So based on this, we, the levels of NO2, the level of NO2 high during this season. But one interesting thing you can see here, the maritime route, you can see here not high, but still here the level of NO2. You can see the path, one line, the blue line in the Indian Ocean, right? So how there are, the NO2 because of the ship emission. So due to the ship, we can get here the, not much high, but level, we can get some, the level of NO2, some, the values we can get. So here it is showing like the one line. So not much like that, but still here. So one study from the Rome, Turin, Valencia, Wuhan. So everybody knows NO, NO2, PM10, PM2.5 particles. These are the primary pollutants, and they reduce during the lockdown. This is the simple concept. But where I have marked a box for ozone. Okay, so ozone during lockdown, the primary pollutants reduce, but ozone high in most of the cities and most of the countries. What is the reason? So I already explained that ozone is a secondary pollutant, and it form in the atmosphere due to the photochemical production. And I also said for ozone formation, we need sunlight, volatile organic compound, and sufficient NOx, right? Earlier I said in previous slide. So and also depends on the volatile organic compounds by NOx ratio. So NOx values, NOx level, we get NOx level, the reduction, we get reduction in the NOx levels during the log time, but VOC may be high as compared to NOx because of the several sources. VOC release in the atmosphere from not only the transport and all the things, solvent also, right? So they contribute to the atmospheric mixing ratio of VOC. So when VOC and NOx ratio high, then they form the surface ozone. So according to that, ozone increases during lockdown period 70% in Europe and 36% in Wuhan, which is very interesting, the thing to understand the chemistry, what is happening there, right? So now we have, our group has done many studies on lockdown, but now I have shown here one study. So now our group has done, the lockdown study on Delhi, Ahmedabad, Mumbai, and Pune. These are the, the mega cities of India. So now we have, the compare. We have compared long-term data, not for 2019, 2020 and all. We compare year since 2013 to 20 for particles, PM 2.5, very less, the very thinner particles, and PM10, which is, the major source of PM10 is the dust, and this is the NO2. So red is the 2020. We took here the 21 to 14 April, very short period. We taken very short period because of we published the paper earlier. So therefore we took a short period. So you can see here the red line is very low as compared to others. Easily we can see here. So this is the the impact of the lockdown, means everything is banned, restricted during the lockdown. Either maybe the industries, transport, or the schools, colleges, and many things. So therefore we found here the clean or something like low values of all the pollutants. So there are now also we have mentioned here for 4 cities. Actually in previous slide you can see here in each city we have a 10 or 15 stations, 10 to 12 stations. There are blue marks, right, in each city, not one station. We have 10 to 12 stations in each, and these stations are located in different background in each city. For example, in one station is located installed in the residential area, and one station is in the industrial area, and other is in the background and clean air. So according to that, therefore we can cover whole the city. Okay, so therefore now we include here background, means almost not polluted area. Traffic, there are the traffic junction like that, there are intense traffic, residential area, industrial area. So what we found here in PM 2.5, PM10 particles, the traffic, you can see here that where the traffic area, we see the reduction in the particles. But if you go in the residential area, see in the Mumbai and Pune, where the reduction is very less as compared to Delhi or Ahmedabad. You can see here the blue part. Why? Because during lockdown, the transport sector is restricted, but the biofuel emission, the emission from the biofuel, which is used for the cooking purpose in slums area, right? So therefore, the biofuel emission did not, we did not find, much reduction in the biofuel, because see So if you see here, Mumbai and Pune, there are, the intense solar flux. Mumbai, you can see the Mumbai reduction around 15% in residential area, because in Mumbai there are lots of, the slums. So they use biofuel for cooking purpose, and with the poor technology, not like the LPG and all, with poor technology. Therefore, the biofuel emission is still, the same which is we found in earlier before the lockdown and all the things. So according to that, we can quantify so based on this plot, we can see the biofuel, the emission is not reduced much as compared to other combustion emissions like that. And these are the emission factors we have mentioned here. Suppose PM, this is the, the PM 2.5 emission factor I have mentioned here, PM 2.5. So you can see here the PM 2.5 coming, the red means transport. So that means the transport sector, the major contributor to the PM 2.5 in all city. Right. So these are the 6 sources which is responsible to thinner, the small particles in in mega cities. So this is the overall, the glimpses. So you can see here we in 4 cities in NO2, the reduction in NO2 we found around 60%, right? Here in black NO2 in Delhi, in red Ahmedabad, in blue is here, sky color in Mumbai, and green in Pune. So around 60% we found, because of the major source of NO2 is transport. So this is the major reduction we found during the lockdown, and we published this paper in international journals. And one interesting thing, the ratio in between PM 2.5 and PM 10. PM 10 majorly comes from the dust or wind blown dust or dust storm, and PM 2.5 is major, the sources is major sources are like biomass burning, traffic, and all the things. So you can see here in Delhi and Ahmedabad, see the ratio which is goes down, which is less than 50%. See here all the things in Ahmedabad, Delhi. That means there what impacted because of the dust, right? And if you see here, Pune and Mumbai, the ratio high above the 60%, because of Mumbai region is surrounded by the ocean. So always there are, the 70 to 75% we can get high humidity in Mumbai because of the ocean. So due to the high humidity, they form some secondary pollutants. So therefore here the contribution high 60% in Mumbai and Pune because of the high altitude, not like Delhi. Sea level height around 200 something, and Ahmedabad 50 meter, but in Pune, which is around 500 meter. So the geographical location is different from each other. Therefore, we found here the higher ratio contribution in Pune. So that means the secondary pollution is also, the contributed in all cities, but high in the Pune and Mumbai city because of the geographical location. Here we plotted here PM 210 and 2.5 for Delhi. You can see here, and this is the green bar is the rainfall. So there we can see here the less pollutant, where we recorded the rainfall. See here. So that means the washout effect of particles during rainfall time. But if you see here, this highest bar, which is coinciding with the highest peak, that means washout effect of the coarser or bigger particle or dust particle. So therefore I have mentioned here. So now the whatever I have shown the basic things, but to understand of further atmospheric chemistry, climate change, and all the things, or the radiative forcing, we need intense study, more study. So how we can do, the in better, how we can do the this kind of study in better way? So we need lots of measurements, we need to do the experiments, and also we need to do the modeling or computational work. So together then we can do a good, the study for future policies, environmental policies, or atmospheric chemistry or climate change. We need this kind of the combination. So based on these things we can do, the we can improve the understanding of the trace gases and aerosols in the atmosphere. So there are lots of, the platform to measurement of this kind of pollutions. Not only like the instruments, like from we have a, the I have mentioned the few platforms. From, for example, lidar, we can get we measure the pollutants using the lidar based remote sensing technique, balloon bond technique. We can also get the vertical profile, not tropospheric. We can get the also the pollution level with the height. So we can use the balloon bond experiment, satellite, also aircraft measurement. So we can get pollution level with the, the air, with the height. Ship measurement, because ocean also good emitter, the intense emitter of the pollution. There are lots of algae and lots of ships, they producing emission, anthropogenic emission, and algae and all the things, they produce biogenic emission. So we can, this is the station wise, the ground based station where we can put some experiments and all the things. So they are, the important platform. So based on using this we can measure all kind of pollutions. So thank you very much for the, now I'm completing all the things. So thank you very much for okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ravi, sir. Students, do you have any questions regarding this topic? Or you want to ask something? Anyone? No question? Okay, thank you, Ravi sir. Thank you. You give a wonderful talk on trash gases and its impact on atmosphere, and you also provide enlight such a wonderful thing about COVID-19 and its impact on atmosphere as well as in ozone layer. So it's our pleasure to hear you about the atmospheric transformation and changes in the layers. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. Dear students, you may got one feedback form on your group. So please submit your feedback regarding this webinar, and your certificates also provided to you on your email ID within this week. So be connected regularly. Thank you. Thank you all.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Yes, Ravi sir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yes. No, I'm not talking. I'm not saying.
Okay, okay. Okay. Thank you all.
So thank you very much for the listening me, and I'm also grateful to you to discussion on trace gases. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Priyal, do you have one question? Do you want to ask some question? Priyal Jain, I think you raised your hand. म्यूट ओपन कर रखा है या? वही। Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. I think there is no question. Thank you, sir. Okay, students, you may leave this platform.
Stop recording.